Welcome everybody out to podcast number 487. Tonight we're going to talk about seeing the entire plan. This is going to be a good one. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome everyone. I really hope you're doing well. I am on fire. I didn't even take time to make an outline for this one because I am just jamming with thoughts, but I will throw something at you here real quick. There is here's some talk from some of our fans, some feedback. Thank you for pushing all of us to elevate ourselves and be better in our lives. I never thought much of attending a Tony Robbins event until I heard you talk about it. So I signed up for the free Ultimate Breakthrough event he did a couple of weeks ago. I got a lot out of this introduction to Tony's methods, but only 2 hours per day left me wanting more. I recently signed up my wife and I up for this Unleash the Power Within event coming up in April. I would not have done this without hearing you talk about it. Thank you for working hard to elevate our industry and those individuals ready for this push. I thought that was just fantastic. Yeah, that's just really good payday stuff right there. And I appreciate the person that sent that to me. It means a lot. All right. So this is, I'm going to cover this podcast topic right now while I'm just feeling jamming and passionate about it. We have to see the plan to finish on any project, right? And I know that people aren't all visual, kinesthetic, or auditory learners, but I do think that we have to be visual when it comes to this. Here's what I'm talking about. And I'm actually going to go and admit that whether you're using CPM, you're using a Gantt chart, you're using Takt, I don't really care. Or if it's just a pull plan in the last planner system, whatever. I don't really care what it is. We have to see the plan to finish. And this is something that rarely happens. And so let me tell you a little story. There's a project where there's lots of owner delays, and the project team is very frustrated, and the owner of the company, and these people are great, and the owner of this company is great, and this company is very aligned with our core values that we have here at Elevate. And I had the opportunity to be able to work with the team, and the project manager, God bless his heart, and the superintendent, they don't have a plan to finish, and they can't see the plan to finish. And I was talking to them, and nobody knows what I'm talking about, so don't try and guess, please. But anyway, I was talking to him about why we needed to see a plan to finish. And I'm like, I don't care. It can be in CPM. It can be a Gantt chart. It can be a line. It can be done in sequential logistics drawings. It can be a Takt plan. It can be whatever you want. You can pull plan it down to the end. Don't care. But we have to see the end. And the question came back, well, how can I project the plan to the finish if I don't know when such and such approval is going to happen? How am I going to do that? That's the trade partner scope. How am I going to do that? I'm waiting on this, waiting. And I kept my cool. You all would be really, really proud of me. But I just kept pushing and saying, we need to see a plan to finish. We need to see the plan to finish. We need to see the plan to finish. And the question was, why? Why would we need to see the plan to finish? And so that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. And that's a real story that happened to me. This is a reoccurring theme almost, well, I don't want to say everywhere I go, but in a lot of different places. And even the people that lecture me about CPM and having a critical path don't even have a complete sequence. When I was running CPM schedules and reviewing them as a field operations director, we would always have the commissioning and testing and balance and the final testing, the fire or life safety activities in the end, the preliminary balance report, all of the TCO requirements, all of those things to achieve substantial completion. All of those would be logic tied and linked together in a CPM schedule. In a Takt plan, I would see the same thing, right? Sometimes they were close enough to the end when I would help recover a project, we would use something like vPlanner or just do a pull plan to the end. But the bottom line is we have to have a plan to finish. And I'm drawing it on my whiteboard over here because I'm feeling really passionate about it. I don't understand, and so this isn't a good podcast from that standpoint. I don't understand why people don't get it that we have to see that plan. And I'm not being judgmental. So if you don't get it, I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying I don't understand and I don't know how to help you if you don't see that, other than to be passionate about this. So in multiple conversations that I've had, I'm like, okay, so we need to see the path to finish. Well, it's in there. Well, okay, well, show me where it's in there. All right, yeah, it's over here. It's in these couple of activities. That's what we have to do. Well, are those activities tied to their successor activities? And are those successor activities tied to commissioning? And is that tied to final inspection? And is that tied to your substantial completion requirements? No, but they're not on the critical path. Well, how do you know that they're not on the critical path if you don't have it all logic tied together if you're using a CPM schedule? Well, I just know that that sequence isn't the longest path. Yeah, but does it affect the longest path on the schedule? And when I'm answering the questions, I'm like, really, what I was going to say really quick, what I revert to saying is show me. Well, but it's not on the critical path, so I don't have to show the full sequence in the schedule. Show me. And I just keep my responses, show me, show me, show me, show me. I want to see what's on the plan. I want to see that you have a plan to finish. I don't want some guessing game at the end of this project. And then let me just go through some of the excuses that I've heard. Well, I don't know the detail. I don't know exactly the plans. Guess. The whole schedule is a wild cuss word guess. Anyway, let me see if I can get the thing over here. The whole schedule is, let me see if I can hear this. I think I can. The whole schedule is a wild guess. The whole thing. It's just one big guess. And there's nothing that's ever going to change that. Unless you're using Takt planning from historical production rates in a leveled system, then it becomes a target. I'm getting passionate about this. When we put together a CPM schedule, it's a wild guess. And when we do it with Takt planning, what we're doing is we're creating a leveled production plan that we can actually target. But Takt planning isn't saying what we think will happen. It's saying what should happen, and we're planning a plan that can happen. In most other schedules, we're guessing what will happen, and we're seeing if we can follow it along a critical path. The whole thing is a wild guess. It's a guess. So why in the hell are we worried about putting together sequences at the end of the project if we're waiting on a little bit of a design or submittal or whatever? We can't wait. I even said, if there's a duration here for pricing or a submittal or a procurement long lead item, whatever the case may be, in a non-sarcastic manner, I want that duration plugged in. And if it makes you feel better, because you're nerding out over this, put the activity name in there, right? With the noun and the verb and the location, right? Or I can't remember what the system was, but this is what we're installing. There's the verb in there saying how we're installing it, and then it actually had the location. But in the activity description there, at the end of it, you can put to be verified or tentative or projected or whatever. I mean, we have to put this information into it so we can see the plan at the end of the schedule, even if it's not 100%. So the two things there, the whole thing, the whole schedule, every activity in a CPM schedule is a wild guess. And so there's no reason that we should be skittish about putting in a sequence or an activity that we're not sure about. If we are skittish, then put in big brackets at the end of the activity name and tell the scheduling consultants to go to hell. Just put in the end of the activity name, projected, tentative, to be verified, whatever you want. Whatever you want, because we're not going to win in the court of law with a CPM schedule anyway. But my point is, if you're going to use a schedule, if you're going to use a V-planner sequence, if you're going to use a pull plan, if you're going to use a Takt plan, you have to see that sequence. And so we very much have to project out into the future. So that's one of the major excuses that I have heard for not seeing to the end of the schedule. The other thing that I've heard is we don't plan that far ahead. Now, let me be clear about something. The last planner system advocates to plan in more detail the closer you get to an activity, but it doesn't say not to plan all the way out to the end of the project. In fact, the last planner system presupposes that you have a master schedule. Let me say that again. The last planner system presupposes that you have a master schedule that projects all the way to the end. So all of this, we don't plan that much detail out to the end crap is garbage. I don't buy it. I'm not hearing it anymore. We need a level 3 or higher, meaning level 2.5, level 3. And yes, level 2.5 exists. Stop arguing with me. Level 3 schedule, high level schedule projected all the way to the end. If not, excuse me, if not, there's nothing we can do to manage the project. There's nothing that we can do. With the person that I was talking about, we were looking at the schedule and they're like, the schedule's done. I can do anything I want with it. Okay, well, show me. So we pulled it up and I was like, okay, if I'm an owner, where do I see the things that I need to do to expedite changes so that I can complete this work? Well, you can't. It's all here and here. Well, I need to see that. Okay. Well, where are the changes here? Well, they're baked into the activities. No, I need to see them in their own WBS section, and I need to see exactly how they're affecting the normal path and normal production work on site. Well, it's assumed that it's a part of the natural cycle. No, it's not. I want to see the entire plan all the way to the end. And so I come to recover a project. I want to see the plan to the end. I'm a superintendent over the project. I want to see the plan to the end. I'm a project director on the project. I want to see the plan to the end. And it feels to me like nobody cares about this. And it's really freaking me out because we lose most of our money in construction on rework, loss of production, wasted man hours, labor hours, overruns from our GCs and our GRs, and estimating busts. And so, number one, I need to know my original duration from an estimating standpoint. I need to know from a schedule standpoint my total labor hours. I need to have a smooth finish to the end so I can install quality from the start. And the other thing is I need to know how much buffer time or overrun I have to my end date to make sure that I manage the schedule. Bottom line is, if I can see the schedule, and if I know that I have a path to the end, no matter what, and this is me like relenting and saying, even if you're using CPM, I want to be able to see the sequence all the way to the end. And if I can do that, I know what key procurement is in the way. I know what strategies I can take to expedite that. I know what critical activities and flows and trade flows that I need to focus on. I know exactly how to communicate with the owner if there's any delays. I know where my high risk areas are. I know how to communicate with the rest of the project. I know the start days to do my pre-install meetings and my preparation for activities. I know how many buffers I can use for delays. I can anticipate things like weather and other things and know if I have enough buffers to overcome them. For example, in an instance like that, I would be more careful about water intrusion planning in a building and possibly spend more money on something like that if I didn't have enough buffer days to overcome the weather, right? I would be more aggressive with figuring out problems and removing roadblocks. The team would be able to, I'm on a roll now. The team would be able to see the end date and know exactly what the status is and not get complacent and go to sleep on this. I would be able to use this in team meetings. I would be able to communicate that with trade partners. I would be able to align procurement to it. I would be able to align my quality systems to it. I can do anything if I have a schedule. That's why one of the things, I'm on a rant now. I wrote the book Elevating Construction Superintendents. I'm writing another one, Elevating Construction Senior Superintendents. I've been wanting to get the Elevating Construction Senior Superintendents book out for a long time. I'm frankly quite annoyed that I'm not done with it. We'll probably have the survey book out before we have the Senior Superintendent one. And the reason that I paused the Senior Superintendent book and then the one that I'm really looking forward to, which is the one for fundamental builders and field engineers and foremen advancing into those ranks, I'm really excited and waiting to get on that one, but I'm not there yet. Why? Because we had to pause and we had to write the book Takt Planning and Integrated Control, and we had to set up Lean Takt as a company to scale Takt planning through the industry because I cannot and you cannot do anything else on a project with operational excellence without a good schedule. Your schedule and your cost and your quality and your safety are all equal, but your schedule comes first. How are you going to install something safely if it's not scheduled that way? How are you going to make money and have proper costs if it's not scheduled that way? How are you going to have enough time for quality and know when to do the pre-install meetings or the pre-construction meetings if it's not scheduled that way? How are you going to achieve production if it's not scheduled that way? All of those things are equal: schedule, production, safety, cost, quality, but schedule comes first. We had to pause this and have Takt Planning and Integrated Control be written first, which is quite frankly annoyed me because I'm wanting to get back to those superintendent books, but without it, we can't do anything else because the superintendent's tool is the schedule. Let me say that again. A superintendent's tool is the schedule. It'd be like hiring a pilot without a plane. What the hell is the pilot going to do without a plane? What the hell is the superintendent going to do without a schedule? Walk around and point around at things? I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense to me. It's like hiring a carpenter without a hammer. What the hell is the carpenter going to do out in the field without a hammer and tool bags and nails, or a screw gun or something? What the hell are they going to do without that? What in the hell is a superintendent going to do, or a project manager, or a team, or a project director without a schedule and without a schedule projection all the way to the end? I don't understand it, and I want people to explain to me why we have so many projects. I've been bashing on CPM. Hell, I'd rather have I'm going to say it right now, I'd rather have a CPM schedule that was at least built right with a damn critical path showing all the way to the end. At least we have something to target, than what we have on most projects, which is nothing. We don't have anything. Here's the bottom line, and you don't have to be a genius to understand this. I'm not a mechanical expert, but let me just lay this down for you. You have your foundations, you have your superstructure. Once your superstructure comes in, you are wanting to get the ground level MEP in so you can get your sanitary risers coming up through the building. You want your mechanical room going. You want your fire riser room going. You want your electrical service entry section going. You want your main distribution frame down there on the ground floor going, so that you can pipe vertically up through the chases of the building, whatever size building it is, so that you can reach power and water, heating hot water, chilled water, domestic water, communications, controls, and exhaust, and anything else that you need, gas, up to the mechanical penthouse, so that you can power on, at least in hand, put the air handlers in the HVAC system in hand, so that you can condition the building, at least in Arizona, or heat the building if you're somewhere else, and get that building sealed up so that you can start balancing that system and head into commissioning at the end of the project. And when you're able to commission and and let me just say it off the top of my head, let's see if I can do it. Let's put my money where my mouth is. You install the equipment, and then you hook up power. You connect the dry side, you connect the wet side. You get your controls cabling hooked up to your devices. You do a point to point to your junction boxes. What are they called? Damn it, I can't remember what they're called. But anyway, on each floor you have where you collect those controls cables, and you do your point to point. That collects at your vertical backbone, and then that connects up through the network to your black box, to your system, to your building management system, to your software and your graphics, so you can tie all of that together and do a sequence of operations and have that system talking together, so that then you can start to do your system test and balance according to your sequence of operations. And then that enables you to start doing functional performance testing. And then you can start purging the building. All of those things allow you then to do your elevator final inspections, your fire sprinkler inspections, your fire alarm inspections and testing for your point to point and throughout the entire system, and doing your fire alarm testing, not at the same time that you're doing the balancing of the HVAC system, at separate times, interlinked together so that it works, so that then you can do all of your final walks and get your sign-offs and your preliminary balance report, your owners and architects punch list, any AHJ requirements for a temporary certificate of occupancy, so that you can finish the building and move the owner in. All of those things sequence together. You don't have to be a genius to understand those things. I, Jason Schroeder, am not a genius. I am not a mechanical expert, but I know damn well that you have to hook up the utilities to the basement support rooms, up through the chases, and the electrical rooms and the comm rooms, the independent distribution frames, all the way up to the roof, to the mechanical equipment, so you can commission the building, so that we can do final inspections and testing and everything else that we need to the building. Why do we not show this on the schedules? Why is the exterior not tied to the site work all the way to the end? Why is this a big thing for me to ask this? And I'm saying that it should not. I'm going to say it again. There's no way. There is a 0% chance that you can manage any aspect of your project unless you have a path to finish in your schedule. I'm asking you to please do that. You can do anything if you can strategically and visually see the plan in one location. I don't care if it's in a log. I don't care if it's in an action item. I don't care if Procore has the submittals in tracking in the system. I don't care. I want it all in one place in a schedule where it's all connected together, and I can see my path to finish, and I can see my buffers, and I can see my interdependence ties, and I can see my production, and I can see what weather's going to affect it, and I can see my critical activities. I can see my critical blocks and chains, my critical production, my critical trade flow, anything else on the schedule. I want to see it at a glance. I should, as a field director or a project director, be able to analyze your schedule in 10 minutes by seeing your schedule. I do not want to see some kind of garbage schedule that's not tied together. You construction managers out there need to get your act together and have a path to finish. And it has to be visible. It has to be complete. It has to be accurate. It has to show delays. It has to be able to show anybody, even the owner, what's going on, what critical decisions. Oh, let me close out with this, then I'll be done. An owner should be able to see what's been done, what needs to be done now, and the status of the project. Let me say that one more time. What's been done, what the status is now, and what needs to be done to enable the project, and what the status of the overall project is. If you can't see that in a matter of seconds, like 30 seconds, 90 seconds, easily on your schedule, then you do not have a path to finish. And if you do not have a path to finish, then you don't have anything. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.